Hello, cheapskaters. Sorry. My name's Kath, and I'm the creator of the Cheapskates Club, where our goal is to live life debt-free, cashed up, and laughing. If this is your first time visiting us, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back. How is everybody? If you can hear thunder, it's thundering. It's trying to rain. We're getting a lot of thunder. So here's hoping the power stays on, nothing drastic happens. Where am I? Frugal February, guys. How's it going for you all? We've got a lot to get through. Now, I usually start our videos with just a bit of a chat between us so that everyone gets a chance to get logged on and into the chat and so on. If you don't like that, don't watch it. Skip through it. It's fine. The other thing is live chat is enabled, and after the show there is a delay in the chat replay, but it will come. Sometimes it can be up to 24 hours. It depends on how YouTube renders the video and the chat, but it can take up to 24 hours for the live chat replay to appear, but it will appear. Do not worry. Now, let me see. What was I going to tell you? Oh, yeah, I want to say, if you are not already subscribed to our channel, there's a little subscribe button down there. So please consider clicking it and subscribing. I would be absolutely so honored to have you as a subscriber to our YouTube channel. It helps us, but it only takes a second to help you too, because clicking that subscribe button ensures that you will never miss a Cheapskates Club video, because we will notify you every time we go live or upload a new video. And if you click the little bell that's next to it, you can select how often you want to be notified of new videos on our channel. So you can choose live streams, you can choose a particular playlist, whatever. But doing that, subscribing, is exciting because it means that you are going to be amongst the first in the world. And I really love saying the first in the world to view our videos, because we actually have viewers from all over the world. And subscribing's free. And sort of being Frugal February, that is just perfect. So while we're waiting, let's see. Fiona was first. Welcome, Fiona. She's going to do Frugal February in July. Okay. Hello, Jenny. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Delaney. Hello, Beverly and Utah. Hi, Melissa, Kelly, Evelyn, Sylvia, Lynette, Kylie, Aradia, Michelle. We're glad you could catch a live show, Michelle. Hello, Hev. Oh, dear. That's not so good, Jenny, but not to worry. One would hope that it was someone you knew and not that you'd been hacked. Hello, Joe. Okay, guys, I have to tell you, Frugal February is going really well for us. I'm absolutely enjoying it, thoroughly enjoying it. I got my shopping fix last week because I went with Thomas when he did his shopping. So I just trailed along behind him, watching him throw things in the trolley and commenting here and there on what, that you swap to this, do this, this one's cheaper. He's a pretty good bargain shopper anyway. And so I didn't have to spend a cent, and I still got my shopping fix. It was quite fun. Oh, Jenny, I'm sorry you've been hacked. Such a pain, such a pain. And it's becoming more and more common. We might have to do a show about security. All right. Today, Had a bit of a slow weekend. I wasn't real well over the weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was starting to come good. I had a bit of a slow weekend, so all my weekend things that I had planned didn't get done. So they sort of all got squashed into yesterday and today. So this morning I was up at the crack of dawn this morning, had things going, and I made tomato relish and I made zucchini pickle. All from, or most of the ingredients came from our garden, which brought the cost down considerably. So I did some sums because I thought, I don't know how much really it costs to make. So I had to sit down and work it out. So tomato relish, I got 5 200-gram jars. So that's a kilo of tomato relish. And it cost me $3.20. Now, I'll premise that by saying they were my tomatoes that I'd grown, that I used to make the tomato relish. I calculated it would be $7.70 if I had to buy the tomatoes. So even at $7.70, if you're buying your tomatoes, it comes down to $1.54 a jar. Now the cheapest I could find, the cheapest reasonably tasty one I could find, there was a generic one that I wasn't game to even think about, and it wasn't that much cheaper, was a 260-gram jar of Beerenberg tomato relish, and it was $5.90 or $2.27 per 100 grams. So, you know, $7.70 for a kilo of relish brings it down to $1.54 a jar. So $1.54 compared to $5.90, bit of a no-brainer really, isn't it? When we talk about being frugal and wanting to, I want to save money, and I've been seeing that a lot the last 3 weeks. I really want to save money. Help me save money. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get the grocery budget under control. Stop and think about what you're putting in your trolley for a start. If you are putting a jar of tomato relish in your trolley and it's costing you $5.90, think about it, because I can tell you it's a really simple recipe. It is on my website. It's on the Cheapskates Club website. I've done a video that's rendering at the moment, so it will be uploaded probably tomorrow. Step by step. It's simple. Guys, if I can make tomato relish, you can. It is really, really easy, and it does not take hours. Actually, it does take hours, but it's not a lot of constant hands-on needing to do a lot time. You get your tomatoes and onions ready, let them soak overnight, drain them, cook them, bottle them. You're not standing there for hours and hours and hours. It's a really simple, really, really tasty recipe. Same with the zucchini pickle. I haven't done the sums for that yet, but it will be probably roughly the same. Now I got the recipe out of our recipe file, Jams, Pickles, Relishes recipe file, is the one that my mum used to make. Bit of a sentimental recipe. And I got 11 200-gram jars out of that recipe. So again, I used the zucchini from my garden. So it would have been probably a bit cheaper than the tomato relish per jar, because there's not as many ingredients in it. Super simple to make, guys. And now I did these 2 batches today. 1 batch, do a small batch. I know we've talked about this before. I love small batch preserving. 1 batch of relish, 1 batch of jam, 1 batch of corned beef or mince or whatever. I'm not a fan of, getting 60 kilos of tomatoes and spending 3 solid days doing nothing but make sauce and dehydrating, and that does not appeal to me at all. 60 kilos of tomatoes spread out over 4 or 5 weeks appeals to me, because it's small batches, and small batches are much more manageable for me because, believe it or not, I don't have a lot of spare time. And I'm pretty sure that most of you don't have a lot of spare time to spend hours and hours and hours in the kitchen preserving. So I like small batches. Small batch preserving suits me down to the ground. So one batch of tomato relish, one batch of zucchini pickle, and I think I started about 7 o'clock and I was finished at about 10:15, and that was finished, cleaned up, jars had been filled, lids had been put on, dishes were done, kitchen was cleaned, rubbish was taken to the compost. I was finished. And it wasn't go, go, go the whole time either. So small batches work for me. They might work for you too. And what I'm saying is, don't be intimidated by making relish or making pickle or making jam or something because you think you have to do that great big batch. You don't. Do a small batch. I've been known to make a batch of jam while I'm cooking tea. I have to be in the kitchen to cook tea anyway. The jam, once the fruit's in the pot with the sugar and the lemon juice, it's all stirred up, it does its thing. I just need to keep an eye on it to make sure it's not going to burn on the bottom, but I don't have to stand there and stir, stir, stir or whatever. It's a really good thing to do. So a small batch of jam, a kilo of fruit, is easy to do, and you get things done. Anyway, off my high horse, that's not what I was going to talk about tonight, but it does sort of fit in with Frugal February, but I thought I'd tell you what I've been up to. Okay. The other thing I've done for members, you can log in and go to the step-by-step for canning meatballs. I posted the video for canning meatballs last week, like I promised you, and I've done the step-by-step with the instructions and everything's there. So it's in the Members Centre for you, and it's actually on the homepage at the moment as a featured article. All right, now let's see. Everybody's here. No. Glad you caught your fluffy butt escapades up, Jane. That'd be terrible. It's so hot here at the moment, Hev. I can't wait for winter, so I'll happily trade you. Full freezers are a good thing. Full freezers are a good thing. Do not knock full freezers. Oh, here's the rain. Cheryl, it is. I absolutely love having something each day. I try to do something each day. It might not be anything big. It might just be a couple of bottles of Hale. No, it is Hale. Look at that. A couple of bottles of Miracle Spray, batch of washing powder, whatever. But I try to do something every day. Hello, Yvonne. They do garden. If you can grow even one or two of the things that you eat, especially if it's expensive things like tomatoes or herbs, fresh rosemary goes crazy. I've got fresh rosemary, I've got mint, and I've got parsley going nuts in the garden at the moment. Someone posted that they'd made pesto with basil, and I went, oh, and I thought, no, I didn't do basil this year because last year the basil went crazy and I have so much of it that I didn't need to do it this year. Even if you can even grow just a couple of things, it will save you money. But more than that is important, but more than that, it's really satisfying to know that you don't have to trust Coles or Woolworths or Aldi that have, between the three of them, 75% of the Australian supermarket market, you don't have to trust them to supply your needs. You can do it yourself. So if every little bit helps, and getting tomatoes and zucchinis from your daughter is even better. Spread the love. That's what I say. Spread the love. Okay, Herb says first 2 weeks were spent stocking up carefully. Crazy Brexit. And now you're living from the pantry. Good. Hello, Amanda. Canning dried red beans. Yes, I've got black beans ready to go, but probably not till Friday because it's just going to be too hot tomorrow and Thursday to run the canner. We're in the high 30s, probably early 40s here for the next couple of days, so I am not putting the canner on. But I have black beans. I went out, remember a while back, I brought you along with me as I packaged up all the different beans, and I put them in Mylar bags and sealed them up and then put them in the buckets. Well, I went out to my shed and I brought in the black beans, so I've just got to get them soaked and cooked up and into the jars, and I think I'll do the fast soak method, so I'll try and record it for you and see how it goes. But yeah, it is so much cheaper. And pancake mix, oh my gosh, yeah, people buy the jugs, the shaky jugs of pancake mix, and even the generic ones are expensive when you consider it's flour. I use 2 cups of flour, quarter cup of milk powder, and 1 teaspoon of sugar in my pancake mix. And to that, to make it up, I add 1.5 cups of water because I like the batter to be a little bit thicker, not quite runny. I sort of like the pancakes to be doughy, for want of a better word. So yeah, if I've got a spare egg, I might put an egg into the mix when I'm making it up, but otherwise, when I'm cooking it, otherwise, no, that's it. There's no way I am going to pay $2 even for that when it costs 2 cups of flour is 40 cents. The milk powder is probably about 50 cents, and your teaspoon of sugar. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. So well done. And it makes Sunday breakfast really quick and easy if you've got the pancake mix ready to go. Hello, Sandra. Pay the painter. That's all right. Was he all budgeted for? You'd obviously planned for him, so it's okay. Melissa made strawberry jam to use up strawberries. Jam is really simple. Jam is just boiling your fruit with sugar, and I always add lemon juice to my jams. Any jam, whatever it is, gets a squirt of lemon juice, a squeeze of lemon juice. It's what it is. Now, I tend to go old school with my jam, and it's like for like, kilo of fruit, kilo of sugar. I have never used jam setter in my life. I have never used pectin in my life for jam, for any jam, and even strawberry jam, which is quite notorious for not setting up nicely. I have never used pectin or jam setter or anything like that for my jam, because I do the like for like, kilo of fruit to a kilo of sugar. It's that ratio for a reason. Sure, you can drop the sugar down, but it's going to affect the chemical reaction as you cook the fruit. So by all means, people want to play with it, go right ahead, but don't expect the same result, because it's impossible to get the same result unless you use the same ingredients, if that makes sense. Selena's been decluttering. Way to go. You'll be able to put that washing soda that you found to good use. I don't think anyone's got them out yet. I haven't seen any. Evelyn's been stewing the apples and pears from the trees before the birds find them. Good luck with that. Beverly's got a glut of chilies. Oh, well done, Beverly. Hi, Maddie. I like sourdough pancakes, Jane. I haven't even thought about sourdough this week, and it would have been a good week to start. But I love sourdough pancakes, yes. So I'm actually quite looking forward to being able to use the, not the waste, not really the waste, but you know what I mean, mental block. Anyway, to make cakes and muffins and pancakes and things. Hi, Barb. We are well, and yes, we are happy. Hannah's ecstatically happy. She has power, water, and internet back on. They were all off for a few days, but they're all back for her now, so that's all right. Oh, broke his thumbs. Ouch. Washing soda is in a jar and labelled. It's actually really useful. Washing soda is a really useful thing, and it fits in really well with Frugal February, simply because it seems expensive when you buy that little packet. If you can find somewhere that sells it in bulk, it'll be much cheaper. But I use it in my washing powder. I use it in Miracle Spray, but I really, really love it for soaking. Because we have the gas cooktop, I don't fill the bath, but I put hot water in the bath, just enough to cover the trivets, and I put in about a quarter cup of dishwasher powder and about a half a cup of washing soda, and just leave them soak until the water's cold, and then I get a microfiber cloth and go and rinse them off, and they come out almost like new. Absolutely no scrubbing needed. I love it for the oven racks, that sort of thing, the grill plates and stuff off the barbecue at the end of summer when we're packing it away. So good. And it's a water softener. So just add some. If you want to boost, if you're using a commercial washing powder and you want to give it a boost, put some washing soda in with the wash too. It lifts stains beautifully. So many discards. Thank you, Jane. So many things you can do with washing soda. Everybody knows except me. I had a mental block. Yes, the discard. That's what I was thinking about. And I'm thinking it's not waste because I'm fully intend to use it. Okay. Okay, when we have meatball subs, sometimes I will make the rolls. Sometimes I will buy just hot dog buns from the bakery, not from the supermarket. I don't like those supermarket ones, but we have a really good bakery not too far away, and they sell really nice rolls. They're about 40 cents each, so they're not cheap, but they're not overly expensive. Sometimes I will use those, or I've been known to put them on Turkish bread. Use Turkish bread for them. They're really good. I use whatever we have. And yes, I do make them sometimes, and it is just my white bread recipe pulled into shape, rolled, and I sort of, well, you can't see what I'm doing because I've got this here. I divide the dough, roll it like a sausage roll, stretch it a little bit, and then I sort of do and squash the ends in so they're a bit rounded, if that makes sense, and do a bit of a score across the top. That's all I do for the rolls for the sub, let them rise, pop them in the oven and bake them off. If I'm doing them, I will usually do 3 or 4 recipes because, making rolls is fiddly. Making bread's easy. Making rolls is fiddly. I'm not good at fiddly. So, yeah, sometimes it depends what's in the house. Oh, no, Selena. The painter dropped a meat smoker lid on the builder's hands and broke his thumbs. Oh, my gosh. Oh, dear. That's terrible. Oh, dear, oh, dear. All right, so Frugal February. That's sort of my Frugal February so far. We haven't had any bills to pay because they were all paid at the end of the month, so they'll due again the end of this month. Haven't had to buy anything. I bought milk. I did buy a couple of loaves of bread. Not really much else. We've had it's been pretty cheap for us, but we're nearly 3 weeks in to Frugal February, so we've only got 9 days to go, and I can tell you that those 3 weeks, they have just flown by. So I really thought we need to find out how everybody is doing, and if you're finding it fun. And I say it fun because it really shouldn't be a chore, and it shouldn't be different to what we normally, or how we normally live anyway, should it? It should just be the way we live all the time, being conscious of what we need, what we want, how much money we have, how the 3 of them are going to meld to work for us. It's part of living Cheapskate's lifestyle. And I know that for some people, the concept of not spending money, any money, terrifies them. They just can't not spend. But I always ask them, do you absolutely really need to spend money? Like, I went shopping with Thomas last week and let him spend his money. I just went along for the ride. It was really good. Worked really well. I didn't need to spend anything. Didn't even spend petrol. I know we all have to buy food, and we have to pay the bills. We have to put fuel in the car, top up your Mikey or whatever. And, get any medications? Don't. Whatever. No matter how frugal, how much you want to stick to Frugal February, if you have medications, you have to get them, because 2 reasons. You need them. They wouldn't be prescribed if you didn't need them. And secondly, they're getting really hard. Some of the most common drugs are getting really, really hard to obtain. So when you can get them, get them. But you do have to be honest with yourself. As you're buying your groceries for the week, do you really need the tub of ice cream that just jumped into the trolley? Do you really need to stop off at Donut King and get that coffee with the free donut? Do you really need to have dinner down the club with friends? Seriously, couldn't they come to you? Everyone brings something. It's so much more relaxing. No one has to worry about, getting too dressed up. You don't have to sign in. Parking's easier. It's going to be a much less expensive meal for everybody. That's sort of what I wanted Frugal February to cover. The impulse purchases, the spontaneous expenses, the wants more than the needs. And I know it's a bit daunting to say, well, I'm not going to spend any money. I'm just not, I'm leaving my purse at home, I'm leaving my cards at home, not spending any money. It can be, scary, but you can do it. You can stop spending money if you really want to. It's a choice we make. And I chose February all those years ago. I chose February because it's only 4 short weeks. This year it's a leap year, so it's 29 days instead of 28. We've got 4 short weeks and 1 day. So if you really, really want to stop spending, you can. And if you think you're being tempted and you think you're going to give in, find something to take your mind off the shopping or the spending, whatever it is. Be like Selena and declutter. I've been decluttering throughout the house. I've been encouraging others to declutter throughout the house. Decluttering keeps me busy. It moves things on, things that we no longer need that someone else could use. And I have to say, when I find an area and it's been decluttered and it looks really good, I just love that look. I'm not a minimalist by any means. I like to have bits and pieces around. I've got photos, I've got special ornaments and things. Not a fan of clutter. Don't look behind me. That's not mine. But getting rid of the stuff that I'm not using, that I'm never going to use again, that I don't really want or I don't really like, that's very freeing. And there's always something. Or things that I've bought thinking I would use and gone, no, never going to use it. That pie in the sky dream has gone. So you could try decluttering. Sell it, make some money. Make some money instead of spending money. Or perhaps you could use the time that you're not shopping to learn a new skill. It's going to be free, of course, because it's Frugal February. But YouTube is fantastic for this. There are channels that will teach you to do everything from making paper to pressure canning to knitting to making wine, how to do haircuts, how to change a washer in a tap, how to paint your house, build a garden bed from rubbish. There are channels out there that will teach you to do all sorts of things, and they're all free. So instead of spending 2 hours or 3 hours every weekend at the shopping centre, spend it cruising YouTube, picking up a new skill. If there's something that you really want to learn how to do, it might be you want to learn how to make earrings, or grow ginormous carrots or something. Look it up on YouTube. You will find a channel that will tell you and teach you how to do it. You will find more than one channel that will tell you and teach you how to do it. I'd say if you've been wanting to learn how to do something, Frugal February is the time to get started. Do your research, make a list of what you'll need, look around the house because you may already have what you need. Watch a few different tutorials so you get a good overview, and then choose your favourite teacher or tutor and binge watch. Watch all you can about the topic. If that doesn't appeal, pick up a book and read. Sit down and actually read a book. Physical book, Kindle, whatever. An ebook on your tablet or phone, whatever. I have a pile of books. I have a big list of books on my Kindle to get through. So by not taking the time to go shopping, that means I've got a bit of time to read. And I will say I'm doing that. Every afternoon for the last 19 days, 20 days, I've stopped at 2 o'clock. Just stopped. I've made myself a cup of tea or an iced coffee, depends on the weather, and I have read for an hour. Now, some of the reading was pure entertainment. Some of it was research. Some of it was for learning, to learn new things, but I just made myself do it for an hour. And I will say it has been bliss. It has been absolute bliss. I'll say the weekends I sneak off into my bedroom, close the door, nobody bothers me for an hour. I read, I come out, I'm happy. I've done something just for me and it hasn't cost a cent. Really easy. You might like to take up walking. Walk for exercise. That's free. Walking is free. You don't need to pay to go to the gym or join a special group or buy a DVD or whatever to get your exercise. Just walk. Go for a walk around your neighbourhood and see who has fruit trees. Make a note of them so that when there's fruit on them, you can go back and see what they're doing with the fruit. Are they picking it? Great. If they're not picking it, even better. You can knock on the door and do a trade with them. They've got oranges. You'll make marmalade and share with them if they'll give you the fruit. I do that. I've done that. I've got a guy not too far away. When his lemon tree's full of lemons, I knock on the door and say, can I have some lemons? And he'll go, yes, and I'm making lemon butter. I'll bring you some lemon butter. He says, thank you very much. My mother loves lemon butter. And we are both happy. Another neighbour has a plum tree. Never. They don't use the plums. They make the best plum sauce. They don't cost me anything. So be observant when you're doing your walking so you get free exercise and possibly free food. And you know what? Exercise is a great mood lifter. And if Frugal February is dragging you down a bit, get outside in the sunshine, look at some plants, breathe some fresh air. It's just balm for the soul, guys. One of the things we need to do for Frugal February, I wondered if the fan was working, that's all, I could hear a noise, is use the time that's not spent spending to do something that costs nothing, that is going to boost your home, boost your life, boost your bank balance. Look on it as a challenge, because I really hope you take it up and make it a part of Frugal February, because February comes around every year. Same time every year. Doesn't change. 12 months, we'll be doing this all over again. So, take up the challenge and turn Frugal February into fun Frugal February. All right, now let me flip back over. Oops, wrong thing, guys. And we'll go up here. Oh my gosh. Great idea, Maddie. And you know what? Sometimes a kilo of sausages is cheaper than a kilo of sausage mince. Go figure. I've been known to buy the sausages and do exactly that. Squeeze them out of the skin onto the pastry, make sausage rolls. Because sausage mince is now $7 a kilo, where I could get a kilo of sausages for $4. Go figure. But it's a great hack. Really, really easy. And you know what? You're not limited to regular old mystery bags either. You can use whatever sausages you can find. Chicken sausages are good for that if you can get them on markdown. What's the ones we like? We like lamb sausages with honey, rosemary, and I don't know what it is. Must be garlic. I was going to say onion, but I don't think it is. They make really good sausage rolls too. All right. Oh, the builder did it to himself. Okay, he dropped the lid. Oh, okay. Thanks, Selena. Okay, so you'll really enjoy it, I'm sure, Jane. no need to confess. If you're not taking money out of the electricity bill or something to do it, you've got the money to pay for it, and it was on 50% off and the sale ends now, and it is something that you would have bought in January or in March if it had been on sale then, is it really a problem? I know we say don't spend any money, but there's being tight and there's being sensible. I would hope that we are all sensible. That would be a sensible thing to do. And that's why, especially with the groceries, I'm going, if you're doing your grocery shopping and things are on half price, buy them. Spend your grocery budget. Just put them away and don't use them until March if you want to. Just live off your pantry, but don't let your pantry run down. It's really interesting. Can you go to your local council, Andrea, and see if they can help you with that? If the tree is a danger, the local council should be able to help you with that, or at least, I suppose it depends on the council. I know my mum had 2 trees removed, and council argued with her and no, they're, canopy trees, can't take them out, blah, 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 blah. It didn't matter that she'd actually planted them. And it wasn't, she kept arguing with them, and a guy came from the council, and he was actually in the yard with her looking at the trees when a branch came down, and the branch came down right over the swing set where my kids had been playing about 3 minutes before. So he was quite happy to say, oh dear, these trees have to go. He actually saw for himself that the trees were dangerous, and she was able to get some sort of assistance she had to pay something, but she had some sort of assistance from council to help with that too. Bills are bills and have to be paid. We have to pay our bills. We all do, and they just keep coming. A good thermos is worth its weight in gold. Absolutely worth its weight in gold. We have one left. We had 2 that were, one was an engagement present, one was a wedding present. We've got one left, and it's 35, 36 years old, and it is brilliant because I can pour boiling water into it, put the lid on, and it is still hot enough to make a cup of tea, hot enough to make a cup of tea 2 days later. I love that thermos, and it is a genuine thermos. So if you can get a good thermos, worth their weight in gold. Hi, Annabelle. Trina. Well done. Nothing is making pizza party. Yay. Well done, Trina. It's cheaper than going out. It's much cheaper than going out. Hi, Maureen. Okay, so February is an expensive month, but you've already budgeted for those, for your house insurance, your car insurance. So they're already in your budget and they're already covered. They're essential expenses, so you have to pay them. You can't avoid them. What you can do is shop around and try and drop them. That will always help. But you just have Frugal February, no spending month, does not say, and never has been, about not paying your bills. So if it's a bill, it's a bill. It's got to be paid. Supermarkets price gouging. Okay. Here's my thoughts. Between them, Coles and Woolies have 65% of the supermarket market. Aldi has another 10%. There are three major players. IGA, I think, is the next biggest, and then you've got the other little independents under them. The thing is, guys, Woolworths and Coles are businesses. They are in business to make money, and they are allowed to make money. They also have shareholders to answer to. Now, I don't have shares in either of those companies, but some of you might, in which case you're part of the problem because you want a return on your investment and you want a good return on your investment. So they have to do whatever is in their power to give you that return on investment. They also need to make the money to cover the costs, and their costs have gone up too, even just their building costs, power, water, that sort of thing has gone up for them as well as for you and I at home. And so they have to cover those as well as wages, their insurances, those sorts of things. And they need to pay a dividend to their investors, to their shareholders. So we can jump up and down and say they're price gouging all we like, but we need to be real about this. They are supposed to make money, and they are allowed to make money. And right now, they are not breaking the law. Is it ethical? Absolutely not. Is it moral? Absolutely not. But they're not breaking the law. The problem is, I still shop at Coles and Woolies and Aldi. How many of you still shop at Coles and Woolies and Aldi? Because we think we have to. And if push comes to shove, we absolutely don't have to. We choose to. We choose to support them. Now, even though I don't spend a lot of money in the supermarket, you'd be lucky, the supermarket would be lucky to get $180 a month out of me. Any supermarket. I still choose to shop there. I could choose to go to a small independent. Problem is, they do the same thing. They do the same thing. They still push their suppliers for the best deal. That's what they're supposed to do. So while I don't like that, that Coles has 8,000 suppliers, and only out of the 8,000, I think only half a dozen or so were prepared to actually say negative things about them on the Four Corners interview. I'll have to go back and check that, but it wasn't very many out of the 8,000. It wasn't even 1%. So that, to me, that screams fear amongst those suppliers. So it was all very well for the CEO of Coles to sit on Four Corners and say, well, we know that they've got expenses and their expenses have gone up, and we're doing our best to keep, to not put our prices up because we want to. No, they don't really want to wear the cost. Trust me, they don't. They want to make money. The fear of that must be within most of those 8,000 suppliers that they will lose their contracts is terrifying. That is mind-boggling. And what's worse is these guys have 3 major supermarkets that they can sell to. And if they can't sell at one, they hopefully can sell to the other. But if they're blacklisted, black banned by one, they'll be black banned by the other ones. And that's wrong. That is very, very wrong. That's when something should be done about it. I would like to see it come from the suppliers themselves by way of their trade organisations, but I doubt that it will, because too many people are screaming that the government has to do something about it. And as soon as that happens, all hope is lost. As soon as the government steps in and starts legislating on that, who can sell to who, how much they can be paid, how much the profit margin is, as soon as that happens, all hope is lost. We will never, never have another truly free market within Australia. We do not want that to happen. It would be much better if those various organisations, the wheat farmers and the dairy farmers and the pineapple growers and the banana growers and the pumpkin growers, whoever, all banded together and went to them and said, this is what we want, this is what we're prepared to accept, and negotiated a better deal all round. That would be so much better than the government ever. Anytime government gets involved in anything like that, it just goes down the sewer. You might as well push the button and flush it away. So it's very wrong. The other thing, though, is you should only be buying ingredients anyway. Don't buy convenience. Don't pay for convenience like I just showed you with the relish, for instance, the tomato relish. Tomato relish and zucchini pickle in under 3 hours from start to, I was sitting down with a cup of coffee, 3.25 hours. And the kitchen was cleaned up, the floor was done, dishes were done, everything. That's convenience on my pantry shelf, enough for us for the next 12 months. Don't pay for convenience. Buy ingredients and learn to make your own. Learn to move things and get into the habit of making it. I think that's probably something that lots of us have to work on. I had to in the beginning. I had to get into the habit of making things, of not automatically putting it in the trolley, but of making it. Like the shaker pancake stuff. People just pick it up, go automatically in the trolley because it's convenient. Well, you know what else is convenient? Having a bag, a Ziploc bag with pancake mix written on it, with flour, powdered milk, and a little bit of sugar in the pantry ready to add water to. That's convenient too, because you've still got to add water to your shaker pancake. Don't pay for convenience. Buy ingredients, and ingredients give you options. You have a better range of recipes that you can make when you have ingredients. So that's my take on the price gouging. I hesitate to call it price gouging simply because I don't actually think it's deliberate price gouging, as in, oh, we're just going to charge them what we can and break those people. I think it's more, we see an opportunity to lift it a few cents per item. That will boost our bottom line by however, hundreds of millions. That'll make our shareholders so much happier. That's what we'll do. All right, off my high horse, sorry. park run. Yep. This is really good, Cheryl. I like that. Use the weekend to build the life you want, not escape the life you have. Shopping's not a hobby. Shopping's not a recreational activity. Shopping is a chore. As soon as you start, make that mind switch from shopping being a social event to shopping being a chore, like scrubbing the shower, doing the ironing, it loses all its appeal. Absolutely loses all its appeal. My tomatoes going crazy too, Maureen. Still. I bet they weren't really slip-ups, Maureen, because you don't slip up much. I bet they don't really slip up. Hi, Bobstar. Are we an hour and a half difference to Darwin, which means 6 o'clock? I don't know. That was a great deal on Nivea, Delaney. A great deal. Yeah, shampoo and conditioner on half price. A good addition to your pantry. Interesting about your insurance. Great. Sorry, guys. There we go. Yvonne's a cheapskate after my own heart. Get the specials, buy in season, buy very little at full price. I try to never pay full price for anything. Diesel here over the weekend was $2. Okay, I want to say it was $2.12. And I used my fuel app and got it down to $1.99, and then with my 13 cents off I paid $1.86. So I was happy with that. I sent Wayne off to do it. Yeah, don't pay full price. There's no need to pay full price for things. Shop around. And people will say, I don't have time to shop around. You don't know what it's like. I work. I have children. I've got an ingrown toenail. So we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's what we do with them that makes the difference. Use your 24 hours wisely. I do not want the government involved. Government should not be involved in business. It has no place in business. Absolutely no place in business. Co-ops still exist, Andrea, but they are not the same as they used to be. When I was a little girl, co-op was great. It meant you paid your yearly dues, you go in because you were a member, you got a discount. It worked really well. It's very different now. Co-ops are very different now. It's like building societies. They used to be a great way to bank, for want of another word. Nah, nothing like that now. Okay, been using World War II food rationing guidelines, Facebook group. Yes, is it living on World War II rations? Facebook group, that's really handy. My only concern is a lot of the recipes that are posted on those groups, understand they're frugal, but we need to remember they were during the war. They are not especially healthful, and here I go, oh, sorry, that's really sort of doing the exact opposite of what I say to other people. But look at the recipes and make them as healthful as you can on your rations, is what I want to say. Don't Don't starve yourself. There was a lot of rickets, a lot of scurvy, a lot of malnutrition during the war, even in Australia, even in the USA, Canada, not just the UK and Europe, because people were living on rations, and the rations often weren't nutritionally sound. So we have to be very careful. I love that sort of challenge. That would be a fun challenge to do. Have ignore the supermarkets. We don't need to go to the supermarket. We've been brainwashed into thinking that we need to go to the supermarket. And because we accept that brainwashing, we no longer have butchers. We no longer have independent greengrocers. We no longer have independent bakeries. We no longer have nice little health food shops, lovely little spice shops. We no longer have the florist. Look at some of the bigger department stores now have a pharmacy in them. They have an optometrist in them, hearing aids in them. All those little things, all those used to be little independent businesses that are gone because we thought the convenience was worth it. And once they're all gone, they've got us hook, line, sinker. We are over a barrel. I'm using lots of those weird sayings tonight, but we will have no choice. We will be at their mercy, as if we are not enough at their mercy now. So we need to be very, very careful. Support your local traders. Go to your local dress shop. Go to your local florist. Go to your local pharmacy. Go to your local baker, your little independent supermarket, your butcher. Go to those places and support them as best you can. I know I've said when we travel, we have a rule. Every little town we get to, doesn't matter where it is, we get to a little town, we stop and we spend some money. Now it might just be on fuel, if we need fuel. It might be I'll buy a loaf of bread for our lunch so we can have fresh bread, or we might get coffee. It depends what's available to us, but we try to spend some money in every little town we get to in our travels, that we go through in our travels, simply because if we don't, if people go through and don't stop there, don't spend money there, those towns will die and they will disappear. And then when travellers need them, they won't be there. So it's a bit the same with your local traders. You stop using them, they're going to go out of business. They won't be there when you need them, and you'll be at the mercy. You and I will all be at the mercy of those big three. Because you can bet if they could get 100% of the market, they would. Yeah. It's someone else I was talking to, their entire grape. They had grapes, and all the grapes they sent, the entire harvest of grapes was rejected. Just rejected. We don't want it. We don't like it. We reject this. It's cruel. Yeah, support your locals as best you can, Have. Selena? Okay. Jane buys in bulk from a wholesaler. Yes. I say we've got a little jar of summer ready for winter. We've got jars of summer on the pantry shelf waiting for winter. That's what I call our relish and pickles, because I make them in summer and we eat them in winter. Yeah. So that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Coupon share with co-workers, employee discount. Wow, that's really good. Oh, cinnamon sugar on hot toast is just delightful. Just delightful. That was a dessert when I was a child. Um, well done, Krista. Well done. Well done. See, I love that. So you were able to still feed your family, keep your house clean, keep yourself clean, keep the washing going, and save some money for your garden beds. I love it. So your procrastinating is helping you save money. I love it. Um, just be discerning. That's all we can be. Just be discerning in where our money is going. The other thing is buy Australian owned. I know we all go buy Australian made, but Australian owned is actually better because the money stays in Australia. Australian made, the profits can go overseas. So we want Australian owned. Use it or lose it. That's exactly right, Cheryl. Absolutely. Absolutely right. It's getting harder and harder for small business to stay. And if you aren't absorbed into the bigger business, you're run over and trampled out. It's really hard. There we go. Kylie says 1st of March, Stanthorpe Apple and Grape Festival. Buy direct from the farms. If you can get grapes straight from the farm, two things. Over the weekend, I went to get some medication for me and popped into Woolworths because that was the closest supermarket and I couldn't be bothered walking. I did not have the energy to walk. And I thought, I haven't put grapes in Wayne's lunchbox for ages. I will get him some grapes for lunchbox. $19.99 a kilo. No, that wasn't Woolies. That was at my local big greengrocer at Big Watermelon. $19.99 a kilo for green grapes. They kept them. I didn't buy grapes. I'm not paying $19.99 a kilo for grapes when I know, because we have friends in Rowanvale, I know that grapes have suffered a little with the weird weather, but they are just rotting because they can't be sold. The other thing is pears. I was listening to ABC radio overnight. They were talking about pears, and Annabelle prompted me this afternoon, reminded me of it because it was overnight, so it was in one ear and out the other pretty much, with the pears that she's picked. And we've got pear orchards that are, there's two in the next, well, two, as soon as this harvest is finished, two of them are going to be bulldozed because no one will buy their pears. Supermarkets won't buy their pears because they say people don't want pears. People don't want pears because they're too jolly expensive. You can't afford to put a pear on a plate when it's going to cost you $3 for a pear. That's ridiculous. That's why people won't buy pears. They're too expensive. So there's two pear orchards that are disappearing. One family has been, that orchard has been in the same family for over 100 years. So it'll be sold, the land will be sold, it'll probably go to housing or something ridiculous. But the trees are being bulldozed. That's criminal. And then the other thing was someone posted in, I think it was on Cheapskates Prepare about, controlling where our food comes from and making sure that it's climate neutral. So we're going to, and this is happening in Australia. Our food production is being shut down so that things that we should, could, have, can do, grow, make, produce here are no longer, but we import them. Because, that makes a lot of sense, because that's really climate neutral to shut down local to import from overseas. That makes a lot of sense. Again, I will say, follow the money with that. See who's benefiting from that smart move, because it's not you and it's not me. 19.99 a kilo for grapes. Priceless. My goodness, it's a wonder I didn't have a stroke on the spot. Like, seriously, if they were cherries are always expensive because we've got a really short season in Australia. But grapes, guys, we have a long grape season in Australia. We should not be paying $20 a kilo for grapes. And that's from a wholesale market. We should not be paying $20 a kilo for grapes. That is just ridiculous. And I don't care how nice they said they were. Not happening. Just not happening. I could have won the 200 million lotto a couple of weeks ago. I still would not pay $20 a kilo for grapes. You could buy the whole blinking orchard, vineyard for less than that. Oh. Apple scrap jelly or apple juice. I used to make apple juice from the cores and peels when my kids were little. I used to save them up. When I had a big bag full, I'd put them into a pot with just a little bit of water and cook them up for the juice. Kids loved it. Loved it. Well done on your greengrocer, Jane. Mangoes have been really expensive this year. Really expensive. The other thing I noticed that was really expensive, probably because I don't have to buy them, yay, sauce tomatoes. To me, sauce tomatoes have always been cheap. I've never paid more than $10 a box for sauce tomatoes. Over the weekend, they were $30 a box for sauce tomatoes. Now, sauce tomatoes are the ones that got a bit of blemish on the skin, or they might be a bit sunburnt. They're an odd shape. They're not the perfect ones. They're the fish John West rejects. Well, sauce tomatoes are the ones that Coles and Woolies reject, I think. And so they've always been cheap. I've never paid more than $10 a box for sauce tomatoes. $30. Absolutely ridiculous. Yep. All my fruit trees are in pots. I've got one apple tree in the ground. All my fruit trees are in pots. My berries are in pots. I like things in pots because I can move them around the yard to follow the sun in summer and winter. It's great. And again, who gave them their power, Maddie? It's a bunch of people with no power. The only power they have is the power they've given themselves, and everybody else bows down to them, goes, oh, we must listen to these lunatics. They're the lead lunatics. Sorry. Okay, 8:46. Sorry, guys. I'm just waffling. Are you happy to keep waffling? Yeah, I haven't bought salmon. We love salmon, cream cheese, and onion on a bagel or a bread roll. But I haven't bought a tin of salmon in 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years. When did we do our last big trip? Our last big trip was before COVID. So 4 years. Because it's just a ridiculous price. Just a ridiculous price. Annabelle says, we have local bakeries. Yes, if you can find a good local bakery, worth its weight in gold. I know I can make bread. I know I can make buns. I know I can do tortillas and stuff. I'm having fun with that tortilla press, by the way. I love to make focaccias and things. But sometimes I just can't. There are days my hands don't work. I tend to be wobbly more than, upright. There are days I can't do those things. So that's when I like to go to a local bakery or a local greengrocer or a local butcher and support them and get what we need. And you know what? Sometimes those small independents have really good specials. They employ locals. They're often owned by locals. So if we can support our local traders, we should be. Wow, Honeycrisp, nice apples too, Honeycrisp. $1.29 a pound, very good. I think we will find, moving into autumn and winter, that our spring and summer has been a terrible season for a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables, and we will see prices go up simply because, and that's just market management, scarcity. The rarer it is, the more expensive it is. So I think we will find that moving on into winter, we're going to have quite a few shortages in terms of quantity, not things that will disappear. We'll still have the apples, the oranges, the bananas, whatever. They just won't be as abundant, and they won't be perhaps quite the quality that we've always been used to. But that's a weather thing. That's beyond anyone's control. We don't control the weather. We have no control over that. And farmers don't have any control over it. And I get a bit annoyed. I get a bit peeved with people that want perfect tomatoes. They have to be perfectly round and even coloured and yada, yada, yada. Well, give me a minute, give me 10 seconds, and I will show you the funniest tomato I've picked this year. Just a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. And I'm back. Look at that. Now you see or now you don't. Look at this. Look at this cutie. It's so cute. Look at it. Supermarket wouldn't accept that because somebody wouldn't buy it. I've had it sitting on my bench. That's going to be my lunch tomorrow. But it's just like, how cute is that? But supermarkets won't accept it. Everybody wants perfect. And honestly, guys, in nature, nothing is perfect. Everything is individual. Everything's individual. So I would happily buy that. I would much rather buy that than go without. But there's going to be someone that goes, no, I want perfect. So they'll pay a premium to have them brought in from California. Ridiculous. And then we'll get our electricity prices will go up because we've got to offset the carbon. Okay. We had such a weird start to summer where our backyard was like a bog. We had so much rain. And yeah, now nothing. And then we get a drenching and nothing. Drenching and nothing. Yeah. This is the best year for tomatoes that I've had in 5 or 6 years. Absolutely the best year. Love growing my tomatoes. And I haven't done anything. I was thinking about it over the weekend. All I did was plant them. And they'd been in, out of the little hothouse into the ground. And they'd been in the ground about 2 weeks. And we went away for a week. And during that week we were away, it was very warm, but it rained a lot. And when I came home, they'd gone nuts. They were all over the place. And then I was sick and didn't get out there. So by the time I finally got back out there, it had been a good couple of weeks and they were just going crazy. So I left them. Totally neglected these tomatoes and they have gone crazy. I am picking colanderfuls now. Started off as pasta bowls, my big pasta bowls. Now they're colanders every morning. Just brilliant. That's my point. They're unelected. They're nobody. It's a bunch of nobodies who've big noted themselves, called themselves the World Economic Forum, and governments bow down to them. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh, I can't help you with a seal for your pressure canner. Night Delaney. $40 for green tomatoes. I've got green tomato relish on my list of things to do if I have enough green tomatoes. Oh my gosh. $40, Evelyn. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Yeah, they were talking about that. I was listening to, I don't even know his name, some Wally. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice Wally, but you know, he's waffling on about cars, and they were talking about this, and I'm like, why? Why? I understand that there's a push to move everyone to EVs. I like the idea of EVs. I honestly do. Just not for Australia. It's an impractical vehicle for Australians, or for most Australians. The few that never leave their, 15-kilometre radius or whatever it is, their 5-kilometre city or their 10, 15-minute city or whatever it is, fine, let them have an EV. That will work well for them. But we travel all over the place. We travel thousands of kilometres all over the place. We go to places so remote, there's not even, we have to arrange fuel dumps to get fuel. An EV, sorry guys, it's ludicrous to expect that in a country the size of Australia, with the population on the, most of it on the east coast, a little along the south, tiny bit in the west, a little bit up north, that they are practical vehicles. They are not. Apart from the fact they're jolly expensive, they're darn dangerous. No, it's just ridiculous. And again, that is just price gouging. Because you know what? Who collects the carbon tax and what do they do with it? I would like to see in detail what will be done with that carbon tax. Give me a plan for it and then show me how that plan will be actioned. And perhaps, just perhaps, I might think it's a good idea. But no one can do that. We're just going to slap a carbon tax on it. And we're going to collect money. No, sorry. Oh, $6, that was pretty good. Kylie, problem is our farms are big and spread apart. Bread and butter green tomato pickles. They sound nice. That tomato has stamina. It was meant to be, so enjoy it. Our farms are too far. We have big farms. We don't have little farms like they have in Europe. We have big farms, 5,000 acres, 1,000,000 acres. We have big farms. We don't have 100 acres or 50 acres as a farm. Those are hobby farms or weekenders. In Australia, our farms are big. They are big, and they are spread apart. It's, I don't know. Be nice if we could. I'd line up with them. Well done him. My father was a truck driver, and he used to bring produce. He'd go to Mundubba and bring produce down. He'd be bringing all sorts of things down to Melbourne to the markets. And he rang my mum one day and he said to get all the neighbours and get them to come into the market at a specific time, and he would meet her out the front because he had pumpkins. He had 40 tonne of pumpkins rejected at the market because there was a blemish on the skin. Not on the skin of every pumpkin, but on the blemish on the skin of the few that they decided, the 6 or whatever they decided to look at through the load. So that 40 tonne of pumpkins was rejected. They were going to take them to the tip. They told Dad to take them to the tip. They were going to dump 40 tonne, and that's 5,280 pounds, 2,240, 5,200 something. I've forgotten how many pounds are in a tonne now. Not a tonne, not a metric tonne, but a tonne, and dump them. So Dad rang Mum, and Mum got all the ladies from across the road, down the street. Lady down the street had 4 kids, lady across the road had 6 kids, everybody. And they all went in and met Dad and got as many pumpkins as they could fit in their boot. Watermelons. It happened with watermelons. He'd get to the market and a whole load of watermelon would be rejected because of a blemish on the skin. Now, My granddad used to say that your pumpkin was no good until it had been burnt by frost. Once it had been burnt by frost, the skin would have a mark on it, and then you could pick it and store it, because it would be sweet. I don't know whether that's true or not, but even now, when we do pumpkins, I pray for a frost before I start picking them, to burn the skin, to mark the skin, so that it will be a sweet pumpkin. Watermelons that are sunburnt, the skin's a little sunburnt, they don't store well. But watermelon doesn't store well anyway. You're only going to eat it, and you don't eat the skin, the rind, but they are sweet. They are really sweet because they've had a huge injection of heat into them to get the sugars flowing and sweetening up. It is criminal. We've got people starving. We've got people that can't afford to feed their families. They either pay the mortgage, pay the power bill, or feed their children. And yet food is being rejected. It is wrong, and that should be stopped. That should be stopped. But again, not by government legislation, but by you, me, everybody going in and letting the CEO of Woolworths, the CEO of Coles, Aldi, letting them know we don't like their business practices. And sure, they might say, who are you? Go away, you're just nobody. And I might be just one nobody, but if 26 million nobodies did it, they'd be screwed. To be blunt, they couldn't ignore that. You know what, Yvonne? Farmers should just do it. Just do it. Why should they have to get permission to sell their product from their own property? They should just do it. I can just see a Tesla towing a trailer full of hay down a dirt road. Sorry, this is my twisted sense of humor. Oh, that's a bit like they want to build the 15-minute city out near Badgerys Creek in Sydney. They're almost like purpose-built ghettos, aren't they? And again, when everybody's living in this ghetto, they're prisoners. They're easy to trap. They're already in the trap. They just have to, be surrounded. So, okay. All right. Night, Fiona. Jane, my father wouldn't eat pumpkin. Loathed pumpkin because when he was a boy growing up, pumpkin was cattle food. It was cow food. He would not eat pumpkin. It was about the only thing Mum ever prepared that Dad would not eat, but he would not eat pumpkin. Yeah, he would not eat it. Is that the one that's supposed to be for diabetes? Because there's another one. There's two now. Maddie. Mum used to do fruit salad. The Fowler's for cola would be fruit salad. Would be pineapple, peaches, um, cherries if we had cherries, whatever fruit we had, but always pineapple and peaches. Sometimes she'd throw in some apricots, mango if there was mango, and grapes. And I loved getting a bowl of fruit salad with grapes in it, because it wasn't fruit salad. If we were out anywhere for our church lunches, the dessert was always fruit salad and ice cream. Standard across the board, fruit salad and ice cream. And I loathed it because it didn't have grapes. I loathed it. And I'd say, oh, it's not fruit salad, it hasn't got grapes. But yeah, I do like bottled grapes. Evelyn leaves the pumpkins till after the first frost. Yeah. Oh, I don't know whether it's true. I don't know whether it's just something we have always done. My granddad did it. My mum and dad did it. I do it. Leave our pumpkins till the first frost, till they've got that little kiss on the skin, and then we pick them. And to Coles the other week, they had imperfect mangoes, $7 for 5 mangoes, worked out no cheaper than a non-imperfect lot. Interesting thing, Woolies have what they call the odd bunch, and they're the misshapen fruit and veg, the wonky tomatoes, that sort of thing. But you do need to be careful because the odd bunch is not cheaper. And in fact, a couple of weeks ago when I was there, it was more expensive to buy tomatoes from the odd bunch than it was to buy the perfect tomatoes. So just check that, be aware of that. If you do like to buy odd bunch type stuff, it doesn't worry me. Imperfect doesn't worry me. As long as it, is the right price, does what I want it to do, I'm happy. No, you wouldn't get frost, Jane. Tomatoes are really good. Veggie swap. Here we go. That sounds like a good idea. Every little bit helps, Maddie. And if you get something different, does it, it's moving on produce you can't use to someone that can use it. You get something in return. I like that idea. It's a bit like trading, Well, you are trading, aren't you? It works really well. All right, it is 9:08. Now I've sprouted off, waffled on, shared my pearls of wisdom with you about all sorts of things unrelated to Frugal February. It must be time to go. I hope you continue to have a really good Frugal February and finish the month on a high. I hope that you can turn it into something fun so you don't feel deprived, and that, you remember it's not a punishment, it's a challenge to be met. An opportunity to reset our thinking. I hate that word. Everyone's resetting the kitchen and resetting this, but a chance to reset our thinking, our attitudes, to refocus on living the cheapskate's way for the rest of the year. And that means that, it will help us reach our goal of living life debt-free, cashed up and laughing. Remember, if you're not already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, click the little bell. There's a share button. If you know someone who might be interested in our channel, hit the share button. And I'll be back next week. Same time, same YouTube channel. Enjoy Frugal February. And, I'd love to know how you're going, how you're overcoming the challenge of not spending. So during the week, share your experiences in the comments below, or head on over to the members forum and share in the Frugal February threads. There's a lot going on. But anyway, have a great week, everyone. Happy cheapskating and enjoy being frugal. Bye.